So a lot of you have been asking me this question, that how did you clear your CA at the age of 20 and what was the strategy and how was it possible to clear? Because for a lot of students it is usually the age of 21 or 22 or 23 depending upon the number of attempts. But even if it is the first attempt, usually the age is 21 and not 20. So it's a natural talk where I'm just going to share how it was possible for me to clear my exams at the age of 20, and I'm just going to share some incidences which happened during my CA final leave period. And at one point of time I had felt extremely low and extremely frustrated, and what was the strategy which really encouraged me in order to get a rank in CA finals, that is all we're going to discuss in this video. But before we begin, I'd like to thank Tickertape for sponsoring this video. So Tickertape is an amazing application for doing your fundamental analysis. If you are interested in stock markets and if you want to do a fundamental analysis of a company, you can just download this Tickertape Pro and you can get all the details, be it the income statement, balance sheet, annual reports, investor presentation. In fact, how many analysts are giving a buy or sell recommendation, that is also given. And you can also get all the ratios, all the multiples, PE, PB, ROC, ROE, etc. So you can click on the link given in the description box, and I have personally started using this application in order to do my fundamental analysis, and that is really helping me in order to select good stocks. So let's watch this entire video in order to understand how I cleared my CA at the age of 20. So first of all, I'd skip my nursery. So usually there's what, playgroup, then nursery, then junior KG and senior KG. This is the hierarchy which happens in the schooling system. And from playgroup, I'd just gone to junior KG directly and I'd skipped nursery. I don't know what was going on in my parents' mind at that point of time, but they thought that nursery इसके कुछ काम का नहीं है, तो nursery में इसको डालेंगे नहीं, तो direct इसको playgroup से junior KG में डाल देते हैं. So that is how my 1 year was saved. And after that, as I told you, that our school adopted IGCSE and A-levels curriculum. So usually what happens is that after your 12th exam, you give your CPT exams like after 3 months. So usually क्या होता है कि March में 12th exams होते हैं. So after your 12th exams in March, you give your CPT in the month of June. But what had happened in my case was that since it was IGCSE and A levels, our 10th and 12th exams were in the month of November and not in the month of March. So you would be wondering कि यार ये मार्च का नवंबर कैसे हो गया या फिर 4 महीने पहले कैसे हो गया, ये तो कोई ना कोई एक ग्रेड में इसने 6 महीने स्किप किए होंगे. So what had happened was that in grade 8, after my 7th grade, till my 7th grade, the education system was that I used to give my finals in the month of March, and the next year grade would used to begin from the month of June itself. So for 8th grade, only for 8th grade, since our school had adopted IGCSE curriculum from 8th grade itself, so for 8th grade, our entire year was only for 6 months, and for those 6 months itself, we had studied for the entire year of grade 8. So grade 8 happened like from June to just November itself. And then we gave our 8th grade exams in November, and the academic year shifted from June to January. So this is how the academic year shifted, and that is how I was able to save another 6 months in order to give my CPT exam. So my 12th exams were over in November 2015, and if you know that the criteria for giving CPT exam is not 12th clear but 12th appear. So I had to call the institute that time, and I just checked with them that will it be possible for me to give my CPT exam because I have appeared for my 12th. And as per the instructions and guidelines, they had stated that the candidate should be 12th appeared and not 12th cleared. Since technically I was 12th appeared, I thought that let's give the CPT exam 1 month after my 12th exam itself. So that is how the story began. So 1 year was saved by skipping nursery and 6 months were saved by giving my A levels in the month of November 2015. So ideally मेरे साथ जो भी friends थे उनका 12th था March 2016 में. So that is how they give CPT in the month of June 2016, and I was able to give in November 2015. So this is how 6 months were saved. So all in all, 1.5 years were saved, and that's how I was able to clear my CA at the age of 20 and not 21.5 or 22. Now some things which really encouraged me in order to give my more than 100%. So trust me, even I am a human being and I'm just a normal human being like you guys. And even I had these moments, I was dismantled and I was feeling very low in order to study. But the bigger point here is that whenever you are dismantled, whenever you are low, you just have to think that the process should be enjoyable. So you know, like the important part is the entire process of those 4 months of your CA finals leave, of your 3 years of articleship, or of your 1.5 years of IPCC or 6 months of CPT, whatever is the process, you should ensure that you enjoy the process no matter what the result is. So my piece of advice for you would be that of course you should focus on the result, but before achieving that result, your focus should be more on the process. Enjoy the process and ultimately the result is going to be very positive. So nowadays what happens is that people are going to judge you basis your result. So this is the bitter truth, but you got to understand this, that whatever is your result, if you're failing or if you're passing, people are going to pass comments accordingly. I agree that these things shouldn't bother you, but our society is developed in such a manner that, for example, if you clear an examination, no matter how much time you've just passed in some other waste activities, still people are going to say, यार इसने देख इतनी मेहनत की थी, इसने इतनी पढ़ाई की थी, ये तो clear होने वाला था, and this guy was just going to ace it. On the other hand, if you're just studying for 12-14 hours a day for even 4 months, and even if you fail that examination despite studying so hard and working so hard, the same set of people, they are going to pass the comment that यार इसने तो कुछ पढ़ाई की नहीं थी, ये तो time pass ही करता था, and he had no intention of clearing and he was definitely not going to clear. In order to have that good reputation, or maybe in order to have that positive comment from people whom you value, you need to ensure that you achieve success in your life. And remember one thing, guys, do well in your life and people will automatically approach you. Well, this shouldn't be the motivation of doing well in your life, but the only point is that if you start doing well in your life, then people are automatically going to approach you. Let's take a simple example. There are so many startup founders who are raising millions of dollars in their Series A, Series B funding, and they're approached by so many media houses, be it Live Mint, Economic Times, Your Story. Any media house you talk about, they approach all these startup founders. So it's nothing but simple. They have achieved success at an early stage of life. All these people are going to approach them. Even I approach all these people for my podcast because I know that I can learn something from them and I can pass that learning in the form of a podcast to my entire audience. So remember this thing in life, that do well in your life and people will automatically approach you. If you really want to meet those people who have achieved a lot of success in their life, and if you can't meet them right now, ensure that this is the biggest source of motivation. So even I used to think the same. I want to host someone very big on my channel, and that was the motivation in order to do well in my life. So whenever I used to be dismantled or feeling low, I used to have that vision in my mind that okay, I want to host him, or I want to meet that person once in my life, and whatever conversation I have with him, I'm going to cherish that for the rest of my lifetime. And with this piece of motivation, I think this really helped me in order to become a better human being and in order to just give my more than 100% each and every day. Remember one thing, each and every day you are going to have a lot of challenges, you're going to face a lot of difficulties, but the bigger question is that what do you do in order to face that difficulty? What do you do in order to tackle that challenge? That is the bigger question, and the answer to that is that you don't have to quit at all. There are so many examples, so many instances, and so many people who failed in their lives, but even after failing, they've achieved so much. You take an example of anyone who have achieved a lot, he or she might have failed at least once in their life, and that failure would have taught them a huge lesson which they are learning. The difference between a successful person and the person who has failed is that successful people take their failures very seriously, work upon their failures and analyze the mistakes and then improve so that they don't repeat the mistakes. However, the people who fail constantly are that they don't take failure to their mind. They are just cribbing about their failures and they're just complaining all the time. You shouldn't be the second category of person, just be the first one and ensure that you're giving more than 100%, analyzing your failures and celebrating your success for a moment and then moving on constantly. It is very important to keep moving on in both these situations, no matter you're successful or you're failing. It is very important to keep moving on, because if you just celebrate your success all the time, you will have ego issues and ऐसे बोलते हैं ना कि success दिमाग में चली जाएगी. So that shouldn't be the case. And if you're just cribbing about failures all the time, you won't be able to celebrate your success, or maybe you won't be able to achieve success because you're just stuck up on your failures and you're not working or improving on them. So that is the life lesson, and I think wherever you're stuck up or wherever you feel that you don't want to do anything or you just want to quit, ensure that you have this mindset and ensure that this piece of advice which is there, that you really want to meet that person who's your role model, and you can only meet that person only if you do well in your life. Because no one is going to value your baby, no one is going to entertain you if you don't achieve anything. That is the harsh truth, but that is the real truth as well. So if you want to achieve something and if you want to meet that person, give your best, achieve something, and that person would be more than happy to interact with you. This should be the best source of motivation. So I hope this video was useful for all of you. If you do like this video, share it with all your friends and subscribe to my channel so that I can create more videos for all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video.